right side of the table. Piper is going to be piloting Gardevoir EX, but it has a pretty hefty bayonet line.
Yeah, that'll be interesting as Austin Ellis has to find a way around what could be a difficult challenge in that bayonet. It can lock out a lot of opportunities. We know there's a lot of items going around when you're trying to set up this Terapagos deck. It's going to be very interesting to watch. And Austin's pretty notable himself, too. Has played a lot of Pokemon, been playing for years, was one of the indie locals for a while, and then moved up to Canada. So shout out to him for continuing on the journey and putting up some pretty solid results along the way.
Well, Austin Ellis definitely notable for me. Bringing Terapagos here to our table. We get to cast over the turtle. Kyle, I'm super excited for this match. I'm sure our players are excited to get into it as well. Let's kick things off here in our Swiss rounds. Of course, we're in round 7 here. Things are really narrowing down in this tournament so far. We're going to start off on the right side of the field here. Just the Ralts with an energy for Piper, and that's it. We're passed over to Austin now, going second.
This is why you can't unified beatdown right now, because games would end and people would cry. That is not a great start for Piper. Just energy, Ralts pass. And for Austin now, huge opportunity. You've learned that your opponent's deck is relatively slow. It's just the stage 2 Gardevoir. It takes a little bit of time to work, and not only that, but it's a slower start too. So pull out the fan and let's get zooming.
Exactly, Fan Rotom. So great to see here with the fan call. It turns on its little fan engines and it gets some Pokemon out onto the field. 3 colorless Pokemon, 100 HP or less. This is a perfect card here for consistency to get all of these Pokemon out. We saw Hoot Hoot, we saw Noctowl in our matches before, but we're going to see it once again here. But now there's quite a few of them, which is a huge part of this deck to get those item cards out that you need down the line. Terapagos, the turtle of the day. Basic Pokemon, like you said, Kyle, can't use Unified Beatdown turn 1. That would be wild, but it's going to start. It's on the bench now. It's ready to go, and now we're back over to Piper's side. We had the Ralts with the energy. Now we're going to jump into the deck with a Nest Ball. Get some more Pokemon out here. What is the hand? Because we didn't even see a single card played in our previous turn.
You have to think that the Nest Ball was the top deck, or else you would have played that on the previous turn, established a Shuppet, and had an opportunity for a turn 2 Bayonet. Instead, it's going to be a slower approach, maybe a turn 3 kind of situation. We're hoping it's just not teleportation burst. we got to do something this turn.
Oh, no. Yes, we need to see something happen here. So we know Gardevoir. I mean, we just saw Gardevoir on our stream in the previous matchup that we saw on the stream, but Piper is playing a very different variation of it, as we said. There's 4 Shuppet, there's 3 Bayonet, gives you a little bit of outs, different strategies here for Gardevoir. How do you think that factors into this specific matchup? And is it going to be that impactful here, Kyle, or is Piper going to have something else up her sleeve?
Certainly. This is a matchup where you could really disrupt an opponent and just keep this Bayonet around for a long time, dealing 30 damage and slowly but surely working that damage onto your opponents, and then start to manipulate it. You have Monkey Dory, you have Radiant Alakazam, and you can take prize cards at your pace instead of when your opponent's expecting.
Yep, well, we're flying through cards now. Trekking Shoes going to get us an additional card to the hand. That Gravity Gemstone as well coming out onto the field, increasing the retreat cost for both Pokemon in the active position. That Shuppet is there. It's got an energy attached as well, but Piper's not done. We also have a Buddy Buddy Poff in here, which is huge to get out these Pokemon that are needed for down the line. Of course, that Kirlia was evolved into from that Ralts that was played down previously, and now we're kind of establishing a board here for Piper Lepine.
You can see the strategy with this deck. If you can continue to just deal 30 damage to a Pokemon that's stuck in the active spot for a long time, then you just put all the damage on board. You can set up a spot where you have 1,000 damage and you just wipe out your opponent easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Well, I'm excited to see what happens here. Of course, these Pokemon joining us. Monkey Dory is still an inclusion here. It's a very fantastic card in this this match. Enveloping Shadow is going to be rolled there on the Shuppet. But I believe it was just a Tails and a, was it a Tails?
I didn't see.
I didn't see it
It
either.
moved so quick.
Yeah, well, we have the 10 damage at a minimum here, so Austin gonna put that area 0 under depths into play here. So expanding the field, and now we're jumping into the deck from this Noctowl, that Jewel Seeker.
Yeah, the first NA area 0 for us, and
Yep.
it's cool to see. We've had cards like this before, the Sky Field, where you can add those additional Pokemon into play, and once more, it's happening again, and you get a lot of resources available. We've seen some strategies with players. You can work in the Bouffalant and start to limit some of the attacking power that your opponents have, but this is a more clean strategy of, well, I just want to set up Noctowls and Duskulls and do cool things.
Yeah, exactly. It does utilize the Dusknoir line to Dusknoir in this deck here for Austin. So you see those Duskull, and they're looking dangerous on the field for Austin. And wow, look at that bench. So we have the possibility to bench now 8 Pokemon on Austin's side. And then that turtle, that giant turtle, pops up there and does that unified beatdown, as you said, Kyle. It unifies all these Pokemon together, 30 damage for each of them. And that's that can take some huge knockouts there as well for Austin. So you're taking knockouts with the Dusknoir, manipulating the prize cards a bit, and then you're responding with Turtle as well. Double turbo energy, the only energy here needed for that Terapagos.
Yeah, we saw the Prime Catcher was searched out, so an opportunity maybe to target that Curlia, go after the heart of the draw engine here, and slow your opponent down. It's already been a slow road.
Yep.
You can make it a little slower.
Ooh, yes. That pink card, the Ace Spec, you can only have 1 in your deck. That Curly is coming up into the active. Terapagos all ready to go here. And then we're going to see an Iono as well. So both players going to draw a new hand here, up to 6 for their prize cards. And then whatever was in their hand is now at the bottom of their deck.
Yeah, not much else you really need here if you're Austin. Just continue to attack, get those prize cards, and hopefully your opponent doesn't find a way to play down that Bayonet and start to put some pressure on you in other ways, but it looks like it's coming.
Yep, it does. Well, that's one prize card down here for Austin Ellis. Now Piper Lepine promoting that second Shuppet up there into the active position. Curlia is wiped off the field here, but we have another Ralts on the bench for Piper as well.
You have to think about your bench as Austin in these spots. There's some Pokemon that you don't want as liabilities, and even Fan Rotom potentially thinking, oh, sometimes you just attack with this bad boy. You got to do something.
That's true. That is true. Well, we see the Bayonet EX evolved in the active position here. The Luminous Energy, which counts as that dark energy for the Adrenabrain, onto the Monkey Dory as well on the bench. Artisan is in play as our stadium as well for Piper. Oof.
Not a bad turn, but there's just that piece missing. We don't see the Curlia. The draw power is lacking, and you hope that this is enough, but you're still dealing with a Terapagos that's unchecked. It's attacking in, and it's putting a lot of pressure on that Bayonet right now.
Exactly. I've played some item locking action before against Terapagos, and it's a toss-up there, but that's what we're seeing from that Bayonet EX. 30 damage, locks the items from Austin, and Austin already has that Terapagos ready to go, swings back at that Bayonet EX. And we're back over to Piper now, who's going to utilize his boss's orders, bring up a Duskull as one of the liabilities out there for Austin, and looking scary indeed. So that's going to be taking 30 damage here in the active position now, and still having those item cards locked down from that everlasting darkness on the Bayonet EX from Piper.
And there is no Dusclops that I see here. So Rare Candy's being shut off. That means this Duskull is trapped right now.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You've got to use your resources in order to get out of here, and it's the double turbo, thankfully in hand, so you can move this Pokemon. But those are limited.
Exactly. How many times can we actually see that if Piper has other ways to disrupt Austin on the left side? That's going to be interesting to see. Well, the turtle comes back.
Piper just found another one right there. It finds
No
the countered catcher there as a resource that could be used later on.
Oh, yeah, you're so right. Well, Duskull is going to be wiped off the field now here into the discard pile. That's a prize card there for Piper.
Oh, the we're at an even prize count, right? So
Yes.
that's a little
Yeah,
awkward there
oh,
to see.
that is awkward, actually. You're so right. So with the knockout there of the Duskull, both of our prize cards are tied up between players, and that does turn off any counter catcher plays. Adrenabrain, Monkey Dory going to come out onto the field. That's our second monkey on the field. Only one has that luminous energy, counting as the dark, to be able to utilize that Adrenabrain. Take some knockouts. But will we see another one potentially come down? Ooh, Cypher Maniacs code breaking here. 2 cards.
Yeah, great to search out those energies, the luminous energies, so you have that opportunity to use the Monkey Dory and spread those damage counters right back to your opponents. But we haven't dealt with the issue, which is Tarapago still is attacking for a knockout.
Exactly. I know, that's really all it needs. It's a basic. It slams down, it gets that energy on, and then it's swinging every single turn consistently at you. So Piper going to add a little more consistency on the right side here with that Cypher Maniac, so you can kind of draw into those cards, usually with your Curlia, but this time they're just lined up at the top of the deck here. And then we're just going to see, once again, that everlasting darkness here from that Baynet EX. An additional 30 damage. Item cards are locked down right now for Austin. So we're going to see just more cards pile up into the hand here for Austin. And Piper just churns through these turns continuously.
You can see the importance of that item lock, sacrificing the Baynet at this point. There's no real value you're getting other than just keeping the item lock in place. Your opponent's going to knock out this Pokemon. You have the Baynet to follow up from this point, and it's really about setting up a situation where you can use the Monkey Dories, put pressure on the right basic Pokemon, and then maybe at that one pivotal spot using Poltergeist to knock out a Tarapago, surprise your opponent, and get them on a 1-turn clock to where you can clean the game up.
Yeah, you want to take a big knockout there. But speaking of knockouts, Austin Ellis down to prize cards, Baynet EX, wiped off the field. That is going to activate that counter catcher now that Piper is behind in prize cards. Baynet EX coming up here, counter catcher being utilized. And now we have that Iono as well.
Yeah, this is what the turn that Piper was looking for. So, oh no, I kind of shot myself in the foot with that last one, but thankfully my opponent has to take prize cards in order to play the game. So there they are. Hoot Hoot now back in play. It doesn't really matter that the retreat cost isn't going to be increased at this point, just so long as your opponent has to continue to find double turbo retreat, which is disgusting.
Yes, exactly. You want to have your opponent utilize all these resources up until they can't even play anymore, potentially. So, Luminous Energy, the second one that was lined up from the Cypher Maniacs code breaking, now coming down onto that Monkey Dory. It's going to lock an additional Adrenabrain as well. So that's more damage stacking up here for potential prize cards down the line for Piper Lepine. We're seeing these refinements fly through now from this Curlia that's now a Gardevoir. It drew us some cards. It's now a big Gardevoir EX. We're seeing more cards from these refinements here from the Curlia on the bench for Piper. And then these evolutions are coming into play. We now have several Baynet down. We're switching into a fresh one.
This is the strategy right here. You can just continue to load your Pokemon up, retreat them,
look at that.
and then move the damage counters that you dealt to yourself. This is the loop right here.
Yeah, that is the loop indeed. Now that Gardevoir EX can deal your own damage counters, accelerating those psychic energy from the discard pile, you can start taking out your opponent's Pokemon with those Monkey Dory, transferring those damage counters with the Adrenabrain. So that's what we see here. Another knockout on that Duskull going down. We see more damage counters flying around here on the field. That Hoot Hoot still stuck in the active position for Austin. And that bench, it was looking big, but now it has slimmed down quite a bit, Kyle.
Yep, and we're not that far away from the game closing out. You can potentially, in the matter of 2 turns, spread enough damage to both Hoot Hoot, Boss's Orders, Terapagos, clean up with Gardevoir, and this game is over.
Yeah, that is pretty brutal. I guess this is how it goes. We were kind of discussing this matchup, Kyle, and this is how it looks.
Yeah, you need to disrupt Piper a little more, and unfortunately for Austin, just did not have enough time to set that up, and that's what happens when you don't have the additional pieces like the Dusclops or Dusknor rare candied out early on to
just couldn't get
disrupt
there.
your opponent.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Now, no disruption there. Piper Lepine is running away here. More refinement. We see the knockouts here from Piper. That's another Hoot Hoot. Poor Hoot Hoot going down once again. That's an additional prize card as well.
I mean, it looks like it's still a turn away, but you might as well continue to add the additional resources, get these energies in play. You have the knockout on the Galapagos.
Yeah, look at that. Insult to injury here. We see that Prime Catcher, Ace Spec, coming down, bringing up this Galapagos, this Gardevoir EX being lined up with these energy accelerated from the discard thanks to that Psychic Embrace ability. It's going to take some damage of its own. But now we're going to have another knockout here for Piper, and that is a lot of pressure to now be placed on this game, especially after transferring even more damage counters as well. Oh, this is just brutal here, Kyle.
Oh, don't feel bad for Austin. He gets to play items.
Yeah, that's true. We're unlocked.
Yay, he's back.
Hey, now that I'm this far ahead in the game, go ahead and have your items, right?
Yeah, good luck. There is a lot you need to piece together. 3 prize cards remaining. That is a brutal number because you can't really make that work when you don't have Duskull. You can't give up a prize card anyways, and you're really just struggling right here. You got to find Double Turbo to at least get an attack off, but how do you knock out a Pokemon of Gardevoir's caliber?
Exactly. I mean, I wanted to see Galapagos EX so bad here, but this is just a matchup where it has a difficult time, I guess, here from Austin. Just from the get-go, as soon as Piper was lined up, ready to go with all of these Pokemon, it has just been debilitating here for Austin. So just a lone Galapagos doesn't even have an energy just yet here from Austin. We're going to see an Ultra Ball discarding a couple of cards here in that Night Stretcher, as well as a Buddy Buddy Poffin. Oh, well, Pheasantipity is a start.
Flip the script, find some
Flipping
cards, find some resources to help out, but
anything.
if it doesn't clean up this Hoot Hoot, I don't know what you're doing.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's really nothing there. Hoot Hoot's got 10 HP left. It is injured there on the deck.
Help.
Yeah, help me. I guess we could, yeah, I don't know. Austin's drawing into these cards, but what do we see that's helping out here? We do see the Night Stretcher, an additional one. We had one go away from us from that Ultra Ball, but now here's another one to bring that Noctowl out. That is going to buff its HP up a little bit there from that Noctowl, but still just 40 HP remaining.
Looking for some help, but you need to
What do
remove damage counters from the board. Your opponent has access to double Adrenabrain with Monkey Dory to spread onto that Noctowl. Take the knockout.
Yeah, I mean,
got bench spaces. You've got counter catchers. You can take prizes.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, but what's it get you? You know? Oh, I guess you could take away one of those Monkey Dory now in the active position here for Piper. Oh, looks like Austin's still going through.
Just needs to continue to put some Pokemon in play, I suppose. You've got plenty of turtles to go around, but where's the energy?
Yeah, where is the energy? That's what I'm asking here, Kyle. We have the stadium. We've had a lot of cards played. We had a couple evolution there with a Noctowl. Pheasantipity drew some cards. We got a couple turtles out, but no energy.
There's,
let's see.
What, 2 remaining? We need last card help.
Oh, I don't think that was it. Was that it?
Nope.
No, it was not. We would have seen that come down. And that's going to be it. Unfortunately for Austin, just could not work away to no energy there to take out a Monkey Dory. And even then, Piper was down to only 1 prize card left. So probably would have seen some response there from Piper. And I guess that's how this matchup goes here, Kyle, between a Gardevoir EX, heavy line of Bayonet EX. I mean, there, it seemed to be pretty heavy on the Bayonet. I feel like that's a Bayonet deck right there.
That is. And you're simply using Gardevoir to assist you in placing damage on yourself. You don't care about any of the energies.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, that was fantastic there from Piper. We saw the double Monkey as well come into play, and that was fantastic. But let's take a look at this replay here. This is how things started out for our players. I mean, Austin had a full board there, and just slowly as these turns whittled down these Pokemon, we were only seeing those Duskull, but they were being taken out before ever even being able to evolve from a rare candy into a Dusknoir and get some knocks for themselves. But taking down that Bayonet, but it had done enough damage there. Item locking Austin Ellis throughout this entire match here from Piper's side, putting these damage counters around, has those double Monkey Dory to be able to spread those damage counters back at Austin's side, take those single prize knockouts consistently, and the Gardevoir EX cleaned up a turtle on the back end, and that was it for Austin. I mean, the fact that Piper was also able to delay with the Hoot being stuck in the active was brutal there, because you're forcing your opponent to use those energy to be able to retreat, and that's just not where you want to be for Austin.
Yeah, this does not work. We've seen some Terapagos decks start to feature jet energy, just any help to promote these Pokemon into the active, be attacking with the right Pokemon, but you need the Pokemon in play first.
Whoa.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a lot of Pokemon here. That's what, 3, 6, 7 Pokemon on both of our players' sides in the prize cards. 2 Duskull, a Noctowl, the Fan Rotom, and the Pidgeot EX. And then 2 Shuppet on Piper's side.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's 4 of them, though.
I mean, it's not the worst news. It's not great, though. If you get a lot of mileage out of these Shuppet, then you're in a good spot. And
exactly.
This is the kind of start that you'd like to see. You've got the Buddy Buddy for your treater in the Mew, an opportunity to lock out items turn 1. Sign me up. It's a lot to ask for, but it'd be nice if you didn't have to deal with any Noctowls getting cool cards.
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way, I suppose. I mean, Austin had a pretty solid setup there with that Nest Ball as well as the Fan Rotom, bringing all these Pokemon out. It's what we saw in the last game, too. That's going to be a consistent start there for Piper, but on this, or sorry, for Austin, but Piper's starting out with the Mew EX this time in the active over here, and we're gonna see, whoa, look at that. Wait, what, weren't 2 Ultra Balls prized, and we just saw 2 more
they're
Ultra
gone.
Balls. Yeah,
Yep.
like that's, yeah, look at that.
It might be tough sledding
goodness.
to find our Pokemon, but Bayonet, double Bayonet in hand, along with what
that's
looked like either a research.
wild.
Like that's a fantastic hand. If you get the heads too,
oh,
she does.
Yes, the heads here from that Shuppet. I don't think we saw it in the last game, but the Enveloping Shadow is going to hit this time.
Yeah, it did not work last game, and you could see that Austin needed that turn.
Yes.
This time, not so fortunate, and there's not a great road out of this.
Yeah, that is tough. Not only, I mean, that's just one step ahead, locking those cards down again for Austin, and that's it. It's just going to be a double turbo onto that Duskull. Piper now going to have the double evolution into the Bayonet EX. I mean, that is incredible here, Kyle. As you said, that's brutal. We didn't even need Ultra Ball at that point. Professor Research being played now, discarding a couple cards here, but going to draw into a fresh 7.
Yeah, we see.
Ooh, Monkey in hand with the Luminous.
Wombo combo.
Absolutely, Wombo combo. Monkey Dory now with that energy attached, ready to Adrenabrain down the line here, but we're going to continue with this item lock. Everlasting Darkness, placing an additional 30 damage, but no items are able to be played here. You can search them, but you can't play them. So Austin gonna, I mean, how ironic.
It's not great. You just, you're thinning your deck. I suppose you can get some stuff, but if you don't want to grab items,
yeah, exactly.
You're just gonna juice up for Poltergeist on the other side.
How quickly do I want to get knocked out here by a Poltergeist? For sure, every single one of those items is more damage.
Yep, trainers will be the word that we really focus on at that point now, and boss's orders could be a little bit disruptive, hopefully helping out Austin here to come up with something.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the pieces come together. Like, if you were playing a different matchup, this would be pretty solid here. I mean, besides having that Duskull stuck, but it did have the pivot because of that double turbo energy from the last turn. So it's going to jump out there. The Terapagos does have a double energy attached, so it's going to be able to take a knockout on that Monkey Dory that served up so much damage in the last match that we saw. So Mew EX, the pivot card into the active position now here for Piper to kick things off for this turn. Now it's going to start off with an Iono here.
Now this is not a matchup that automatically is locked in for Piper. She lost this matchup previously earlier in the tournaments, so that is the one loss of the day, but clearly you can see the strategy works pretty well when you get it set up, and this is a point that Austin needs to focus on, is I just can't let this lock happen right here. If I can't find another double turbo to get this Hoot Hoot out of the active spot and put pressure on Bayonet, I'm in for a world of pain.
Yeah, we're seeing the same strategy play out here now. Counter catcher being behind just slightly in the prize cards here, being activated. Hoot Hoot back in the active. We already had to waste one of those double turbo to get that dust call out. Oh, we got another one.
He's cooking.
Very nice. Oh, wait.
There's only 2 left and found one of them. So
Yeah.
it just depends if you feel comfortable going for it. And I think you have to.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to feel comfortable at this table. Your opponent is doing crazy disruptive things.
Yeah, you gotta come out of your shell as this Terapagos EX back into the active here, hitting back into this Bayonet once again, reacting to that counter catcher play from Piper. Now Piper moving quickly here. We're gonna see some refinement happen from that Curlia.
Yeah, I don't think Austin's going to love the news on this side of the table.
No.
There's Prime Catcher and Boss's orders. There's
From the refinement?
We already saw the boss in hand, but
that's
you should
brutal.
act like you top decked it.
I guess that's true. Well, it's actually going to be the Professor Turo being utilized here for the supporter for turn from Piper, scooping up that Bayonet EX back into the hand, but that Prime Catcher coming back out. That Bayonet EX on the bench, of course, coming into play in the active position, and we're back at the same spot we were, thanks to that nice, beautiful pink card, as well as that Professor picking up that Pokemon, putting even more obstacles in the way for Austin. And not only that, we're also going to have a Cypher Maniacs code breaking here.
Yeah, when you start to think about the resources that you can accrue at this stage of the game, you can set up all of the Monkey Dory shenanigans. You can have the Radiant Alakazam at some point as well too. And if you're spreading to 3 different Pokemon in a turn, if your opponent ever opens up and gives you the stadium and you can just clean up and play with all the cool dudes on your side of the board, you can take 5 prize cards easily.
Dudes. Yes, absolutely. Well, 2 cards to the top here now for Piper that are able to just be drawn into, of course, that Monkey Dory Luminous Energy combo. Wombo combo, as you put it, Kyle, on the bench now here for Piper. Doing a lot of damage. We're seeing Bayonet just fly around back and forth from Piper here, but just continuing to get these damage counters out. And we're seeing multiple knockouts that are going to happen from Austin's side. If we don't see any change here, it's brutal to watch, Kyle. It's brutal to watch.
I mean, if there was ever a deck that did not like this strategy, it's the one that plays 1 switching effect and 4 energies. You're stuck, buddy.
You're stuck. Yeah, unfortunate here for Austin. Of course, we do have that double turbo energy in hand, which is pretty wild that we've been seeing all of them so consistently throughout this match, but you can't waste them. You cannot waste them, and unfortunately, Piper's just had all the outs to that, so these Hoot Hoots are just stuck here. Piper, once again, manipulating these damage counters over on the right side of the field, transferring some damage over to that Hoot Hoot, taking that first one down. But that's not all we got.
Yep. It's just once more, Austin says, well, take out the other Hoot Hoot for me too while you're at it. I'd like you to take a knockout and allow me to bring up this Tropicos without having to waste one of my double turbo energies.
Yeah, you can be my my out here to not be stuck anymore.
Knocking out is retreat.
Yeah. Well, Piper gonna turn through this turn here. Looks like trying to decide what to do. The Hoot Hoot's gone, finally. That is another prize card here, but it's out of the active position. It's knocked out. So Piper down another prize card. 4 left to take. Austin Ellis still sitting at 5. Terapagos EX is in the active position here now. We had that plenty of cards in hand, but you could use a couple more here. Flip the script, got a Vitality Band, a Dusknoir, as well as a Spiritomb being drawn from that Flip the script, but we still just got a turtle with an energy, and that's it.
I mean, that is the best option for Austin at this point, is to continue with the Terapagos and attack into the Bayonet, but you have to accumulate enough damage, and it's so difficult to reach that threshold. I don't know how you hit 240.
Yeah, exactly. Right now our bench is limited here. There's no stadium in play. We just have these Pokemon out to 5 maximum. We did see the Vitality Band come down onto the Terapagos, swinging into that Bayonet, trying to get the damage out onto the field. Now just 100 HP left. Piper on the other side. 4 prize cards left to take. The race is on here, Kyle. We're going to see that Curlia come down to be able to draw into some additional cards. The deck is looking pretty slim here. Piper has a lot of options still. We still have that Monkey Dory with the Luminous Energy as well to be able to manipulate some more damage counters. So we're going to see some more prize cards going down.
Yeah, you can move that damage onto the Duskull, take the knockout, and go down to just 4 prize cards remaining? 3?
3 now,
oh,
yeah.
And
took an energy.
It's getting close at this point. Do you feel comfortable going for Poltergeist?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Like how many, you have to assess, how big is my opponent's hand? How many trainer cards are in that hand? Can I take a knockout on this 230 HP Terapagos? Ooh, yeah, we're gonna risk it here. Count those trainer cards, Kyle. That's
like
enough. Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. We didn't need to count. That was plenty here. Everlasting Darkness has been stacking up those cards because Austin's unable to play item cards from the hand now. Piper swinging a huge Poltergeist there, knocking out the Terapagos. 2 prize cards down. No more well, until now. Another turtle on the field for Austin.
Nice.
And we already had the double turbo. But now Piper's just sitting at 1 prize card left.
You need more from this turn for Austin. Yes, you can bring up this Terapagos, potentially knock out the Bayonet EX and start to add some Pokemon to the board, but hand disruption, something to slow down your opponent from continuing to just do this simple strategy of
it is simple.
Move damage
really
and make you cry.
Yeah, it's a damage spread deck in this Gardevoir EX Bayonet EX combo, and really Monkey Dory. I feel like they're all 3 kind of pulling their weight in this matchup. Austin, on the other hand, unable to utilize all the strategies being locked for so long, but now we have that stadium out onto the field. We have all these Pokemon up to 8 coming down. So that is a lot of damage stacking up for a unified beatdown from that Terapagos EX. They all unify to beat down. Here, flip the script. Gonna draw into 3 additional cards. Iono. That is a supporter there. Ooh, is that the Ursaluna, Blood Moon Ursaluna coming out as well onto the field for Austin.
Yeah.
And there's a disruption in the Iono, at least. That's 1 step to take here to put in Piper's way, but we just need 1 prize card from Piper.
Yeah, and you're dealing with 230 hit points, so Gardevoir attacking for 190, Monkey Dory moving 30. You're still another Monkey Dory away from being able to take the knockout there, and it's also just the 1 final Luminous Energy, I believe. You're asking a lot, but you have that Mew and the Curly as well. If you can incorporate all that with a Night Stretcher, then maybe you got something rolling. But I'm not seeing Night Stretcher.
Yeah, it's just
it's Super Rod here.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot to put together here, but you're so close. But for Austin, Ellis gonna try to remain in the game. Bayonet EX going down, 2 prize cards, only 3 left to take here for Austin to be able to win this game in our game 2 and go to a game 3. Piper, Mew EX in the active position. We see a Nest Ball here now coming down. Ooh. We can see this is a basic Pokemon in that Radiant Alakazam. Painful Spoons, really cool. I mean, we're talking about damage counters and manipulating them around. You get to move 2 damage counters from your opponent's Pokemon to their other Pokemon, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, if you want to go back to the lock once more,
Ooh,
maybe you can move that damage onto Pokemon like Fan Rotom or Hoot Hoot and try to work out the knockout there.
Well, Curlia gonna get us a couple more cards, discarding that Luminous Energy. Now it's in the discard pile. Of course, the bench is full now, so just that single Monkey Dory on the field here. Free retreat from this Mew EX into this Gardevoir EX, our secondary attacker here in this deck. Psychic Embrace gonna line up these energy, take some damage there from that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel comfortable, but it basically is checkmate at this point. You move the damage. I would argue you can move it onto Terapagos, honestly, if there's no way to move this Pokemon. You get up to 220, and then either Monkey Dory or Radiant Alakazam could try to work it out. But I suppose with Radiant Alakazam there, you can move the damage over too.
Yeah, wow, we haven't seen that card in quite a bit there. That Feather Ball for Austin. Hoot Hoot gonna come out onto the field, evolve once again into that Jewel Seeker. That's 2 additional item cards in that Prime Catcher as well as the Rare Candy.
Just not used to seeing him use items.
I know, right?
Looky
Oh,
here.
we got items? Whoa!
Making a little bit of a comeback now.
Yeah, I know. You can see how powerful this deck really functions when it's actually able to use half of its cards, or really more than half of its cards within those trainers. But yeah, Austin going through here this turn. We have a heavily damaged Terapagos EX in the active here. The Prime Catcher was sought out. We have this Blood Moon Ursaluna being thrown into the active against the Monkey Dory here, and that Monkey Dory is going down into the discard pile. That's another prize card for Austin Ellis from that Blood Moon Ursaluna with that Blood Moon attack, but Piper's rolling fast
wow,
here.
yeah, we can
That's
genome hack. That's something else.
Genome hacking. We're going in. We're Cypher Maniacs code breaking the game here against Austin Ellis with the genome hacking on the Mew EX, just copying that attack and taking the last prize cards needed to win. Piper Lepine 2-0 here in our Swiss round 7.
That's a good attack. I think I'll steal it. It works out flawlessly, and man, you have to feel for Austin. There's not much you can do in a match like that when your opponent is just manipulating every piece about your deck. You can't retreat, you can't attack, you can't use items, and he still almost figured it out. Let's check out how.
Yeah, I want to see a little more of that manipulation here. I mean, that Bayonet carried so much weight in this matchup. And this is our first game, so we didn't actually see the Shuppet utilize that lock early, but still, once we got into that lock, Austin was just hindered the entire time. Those Duskull remained Duskulls. There was no rare candies. There was no evolutions. All of these Hoot Hoots and Duskulls slowly went down over time from Piper as we just maintained that lock. Losing a Bayonet EX, but that was not even a thing here, Kyle, because you see just the consistent knockouts with the double Monkey Dory. I mean, that was just brutal to see with those Luminous Energy, spreading those damage counters and taking all the prize cards needed here in this game 1. Gardevoir EX cleaned things up on the back end toward the end of that game for a big checkmate. Now we're in the game 2. Things were looking a little different here.
Yeah, this was where you see a little bit of that vulnerability. There were opportunities for Austin if he's able to find the way to retreat these Pokemon, and often he was able to find a way to move around. But Piper didn't have a lot of those resources that we saw in Game 1. The double Monkey Dory really opens up for you to set up those multi-prize turns. Instead, you got to play a little bit riskier in spots like this. After you take this knockout, you got to go for Poltergeist, and it opens up a path for your opponent to start making a comeback. The item lock is no longer in play, but for Austin, yeah, this prize felt very nice, but it was not enough to close out in a spot like this. You see the Blood Moon Ursaluna, and I think we got plenty of energies here.
Yeah.
Mew, giddy up.
Yeah, we have the shifting of those damage counters, the genome hack to take the knockout, the exact damage needed on that Blood Moon Ursaluna. Saying, oh, that was cool, you took me out, but I'm gonna take you out. Using your own Pokemon against you. That's what Mew EX gets you, which is pretty cool to see, Kyle. Interesting way. I mean, we saw the utilization of every single Pokemon in that deck.
Yeah.
We saw the Bayonet, I mean, the Shuppet to lock the items.
Shuppet's attacking.
The Bayonet to just keep up that item lock, get those damage counters down. The Radiant Alakazam to switch those damage counters around at the end to take the knockout. The Mew EX to Genome Hack. The Gardevoir EX to clean things up. I love this list.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most interesting toolbox because it's all just psychic dudes having fun.
Exactly.
But they get the job done. It's truly enough. And you've got one strategy of, well, I need to move around damage and keep my opponent at bay. It works out so well. It's not the cleanest lock. Obviously, it looks like more of a soft lock kind of strategy, but you get yourself to a point where